Well, if anybody's watching, welcome, welcome. You can use the chat on Facebook or YouTube. And we're going to start in about 4 minutes. Well, if anybody's watching, welcome, welcome. You can use the chat on Facebook or YouTube. And we're going to start in about 4 minutes. Hello, hello. We're going to get ready in about 3 minutes.
Well, if anybody's watching,
if you're watching on Facebook, you can use the chat in the bottom
on Facebook or YouTube.
Right below the live stream.
We're starting in about 4 minutes.
And if you're watching on YouTube, let me jump over to YouTube. I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically. So if you want to chat in there, I will get that and I will answer if I can.
Hello, hello. We're going to get ready in about
and YouTube.
3 minutes. Well, if anybody's watching,
on Facebook, you can use the chat. If you would like to test that,
Facebook or YouTube.
Right below the live stream.
We're starting in about 4 minutes.
And if you're watching on YouTube, let me jump over to YouTube. I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically. So if you want to chat in there, I will get that and I will answer if I can.
Hello, hello. We're going to get ready in about 3 minutes. Well, if anybody's watching on Facebook, you can use the chat.
If you would like to test that, right below the live stream.
If you're watching on YouTube.
Hey, Dan, no problem. Thanks for joining me.
I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically. So if you want to chat in there, I will get that and I will answer if I can. Hello, hello. We're going to get ready in about 3 minutes. Well, if anybody's watching on Facebook, you can use the chat. Right below the live stream. If you're watching on YouTube.
Hey, Dan, no problem. Thanks for joining me.
I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically.
Joining me.
I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically. So if you want to chat in there, I will get that and I will answer if I can. Hello, hello. We're going to get ready.
Unfortunately, I'm going to get low key, Dan, today because I was up super early.
Hey, Dan, no problem. Thanks for joining me
this morning. Back-to-back meetings. Just got home. Didn't eat dinner, and here we are.
Me? I think it's to the, if you're looking at it, it's to the right, basically. So if you want to chat in there, I will get that and I will answer if I can.
We'll get started in 1 minute. Unfortunately, I'm going to get low key, Dan, today because I was up super early.
Hey, Dan, no problem. Thanks for joining me
this morning. Back-to-back meetings. Just got home. Didn't eat dinner, and here we are.
Me?
We'll get started in 1 minute.
Dinner, and here we are.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's rock and roll. Let me get my thing up here.
We'll get started in.
All right, there we go. All right, today we are going to talk about the 4 tax strategies to keep the government out of your pocket. Just a quick disclaimer. You might want to be able to see this disclaimer, so let me lose my head.
Dinner, and here we are.
All right. I'm a financial advisor. I'm able to do business in all 50 states, but I'm not a CPA nor am I an attorney. So just do your own due diligence if you're going to act on anything I'm going to talk about today.
We'll get started in.
I always play this slide at my seminars, makes people laugh. Basically, it's just a kid playing Monopoly, and he's crying because he has to pay taxes. Everybody laughs. And that's it.
Disclaimer. You might want to be able to see this disclaimer, so let me lose.
And then I tell a story of, sorry, I got distracted. Somebody,
I'm a financial advisor. I'm able to do business in all 50 states.
Everybody in YouTube, anyways, it says sound is repeating.
Due diligence if you're going to act on anything I'm going to talk about today.
So let me take a break to find out why that would be everything's muted on my side, so you should be only getting my microphone.
And want to be able to see this disclaimer, so let me lose. And then I tell a story of, sorry, I got distracted. Somebody, everybody in YouTube anyways, it says sound is repeating. So let me take a break to find out why that would be happening.
It was different than what I was doing last night. That is super strange. Let me get rid of some windows and see if that's what's causing it. I wouldn't think so. How about the sound now? Is anything any better? Says everything's good on my part. That's super strange. Oh, is it really better, Lynn? All right, cool. The only thing else I could offer is maybe if you want to jump over to Facebook, maybe it's better over on Facebook, but I guess if it's better now, we're good. That's weird. I don't know what the problem is. All right, good. All right, so I'll continue. And as in my seminars, if you've probably seen my seminars before, sorry, I've got to talk about me, right? So I was kind of this boy's age when I realized I was obsessed with money and taxes and everything. So I'd go grocery shopping with my mom every Sunday at A&P. I would then go home and write down the prices of everything she bought in my book because I was tracking inflation at age 10 because I was a weird little kid. And then I would grew up and got an undergraduate degree in economics from Oakland University, and then a master's degree in finance from Walsh. Became a financial advisor, couldn't get a client to save my life. Why do you suppose that may be? Well, because that's what I was doing. I was trying to raise a family. I had met my wife. She's a family practice physician, and she's practicing, being a doctor, working all the time. So, of course, someone's got to raise our kids, right? So that was me. And trying to do that while starting business, not so easy. But, just more pictures of this so you can feel my pain. But let me tell you what's changed everything for me is basically when I learned how Social Security was taxed. It's taxed on provisional income, different than anything else. And once you know, because basically the government taxes Social Security based on something different, provisional income, for the sole purpose of if you don't really have a whole lot of money, it's tax-free. Well, I figured out a way how you can keep it tax-free and layer your other income streams, because obviously you want more income than Social Security, right? To keep it tax-free. So it's kind of cool. And that whole formula is what got me invited out to Wilmington, Delaware to do a TEDx talk on that. You can just Google that now if you want. I was invited out to High Point University to do a talk on inflation as my business started growing. Got to meet some cool people, Chris Wallace, Larry King. Maybe you've seen me on local news, national as far as the Wall Street Journal, USA Today. I was on CBS Detroit this morning. Today is Wednesday, July 26th, just so you know it's not being recorded. This morning on CBS Detroit, and I had back-to-back appointments, and I got home, didn't eat dinner, and here I am. So you're getting a low-key Dan today. Wrote a book, Forget the Casserole, for widows back in 2004. My inflation book hit the Amazon bestseller list in August of 2014. How to Position Your Retirement Nest Egg to Ensure You Don't Run Out of Money is my latest book. You can always get a free copy of that. If you come to one of my seminars, just go to my website to know where I'll be speaking. Or you can pay the whopping $14 on Amazon if you want. So here are my kids, my family. Somehow my kids made it, not sure exactly how. It was all a blur. We try to do mission trips every year. So this El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras. We did Belize 2-3 weeks ago. Last month, maybe now. These are the kind of villages we visit. Of course, my wife being the doctor, that's who they want, right? There's my wife. She's taking care of the oldest person in the village there. She's 99 years old. Looked like she wasn't going to make it past that day. We were told after we left that she was a week later bouncing around. She was just super dehydrated, which obviously is a big problem in that neck of the woods. That's my youngest right there. He's being taught all the drugs that are on the table. So when my wife prescribes them, he gets them out of the little bags. My oldest son would write down how often to take them per my wife's chicken scratch. And then my daughter did not want to be there, so I just made her paint everybody's nails. Ha ha ha. This was about 9 months ago. This was at a movie premiere. My wife got to hang out with Brad Pitt. Now, I haven't seen her since, but I'm sure she's doing awesome. That is a joke, of course. This is at a wax museum where I had to literally pull her off of Wax Brad. She's obsessed. I've just brought you guys down here, or brought you to my seminar to see if she's smiling more with Brad or with me. Yes, it's kind of different when I don't get the laughter from a live seminar. So here is my firm, Bridgeriver Advisors. We're on Long Lake, just north of Long Lake. We try to be a full-service brokerage firm. We do assets under management, insurance products, Medicare planning, estate planning. There's a Medicaid planning attorney that he's not employed by me, but he's in the same building. So we'll bring him up if our clients need crisis planning to qualify for Medicaid. When clients ask how I charge, I just give them the F word. Stands for fiduciary. So we sit on the same side of the table as our family. Told you it's going to be a long one today. I sit on the same side of the table as our clients because I don't get paid commissions for the investment products that we're investing in the market. It's just a flat fee. So I'm not incentivized to sell you something that's not in your best interest. All right. Thank you for bearing with me on that. Let's start. When did income taxes begin? I am not going to wait for people to guess because there is a 16-second delay. So that's not going to work. Income taxes began in 1913. 16th Amendment, they became law. Now, if you go back to 1913, this is what the tax form looked like back then. It was a one-pager and there was no back to it. So if you were Joe Schmo or J.D. Rockefeller, that's what you filled out. One page. Isn't that crazy? So back in 1913, though, the tax code was 4 pages. Does anybody want to guess how many pages it is now? Of course, like I said, I'm not going to wait for people to answer. I should probably turn off my phone. The answer is 83,000 pages. Isn't that awesome? 83,000 pages. And actually 254 pages were just added with the Secure Act 2.0 that passed this year. Between the 2.0 and 1.0, it was the most drastic changes to retirement income distribution ever. Okay. So Secure Act 1.0 and 2.0. What it basically did it do? Well, the big thing that it did is it moved required minimum distributions, that time where you have to pull money out, from 70.5 to 72 was Secure Act 1.0. And then from 73, which it is now, this year, to 75 if you turn 75 by 2034. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. So that's the main things it did. But what I always like to ask in my seminars is, do you think them postponing the year in which you have to pull out required minimum distributions helps or hurts you? Most people say both, and that's mostly true. So if it hurts people, that if you think about it, if you're not pulling money out of those IRAs and you just let them keep growing, and by IRAs, I mean 401ks, 403bs, all that stuff. If you don't take it out, it just keeps growing, right? And compounds and compounds. And then when you are forced to pull this money out, it's just bigger, right? So how does that help you? I did some math, and waiting causes you to pay about 18% more over your lifetime in taxes if you just let it wait and let it compound. That's silly. It does help a few, though. Some of my clients were doing conversion strategies, right? We're moving money from IRAs, 401ks into Roths. And if we don't have to take out a required minimum distribution, it helps us by converting more and maybe paying less taxes on that, okay? So that's kind of important. Because you can still do conversions even when you're doing required minimum distributions, but the required minimum distribution alone might bump you up into a higher tax bracket. Okay, so who did the Trump tax help? Trump Tax Act, yeah, help corporations or you and I? Well, the answer is actually both, right? It lowered corporate taxes from 33% to 25%. And it lowered our taxes about 4% individual on average. However, corporation taxes were made permanent, that tax cut. Ours, not so much, right? Our tax rates that were lowered goes away the end of 2025 and goes back up to Obama's rates 2017. The brackets shrink and go up. In fact, one of the brackets that all my clients are in when they start doing conversions goes up 9% on January 1st, 2026. So you might want to get on that if you're doing conversions. All right. The 4 tax strategies to keep the government out of your pocket. Here we go. Number 1, Roth conversions, obviously. 2, donor advised funds. That might be something that you have not heard of yet. A capital gains strategy. We're going to talk about that. That's kind of a cool one. And life insurance. Why the heck would you need life insurance? Well, I'm going to show you. All right, Roth conversions. Why would you even want to do a Roth conversion? Well, it's a great tax-free gift to your children, right? Because your children, when you pass, will probably be in their peak earning years. You certainly don't want to, if you can help it, give them a tax-infested account like an IRA, because they can never convert to a Roth if they inherit your traditional IRA. It could be a possible reduction of IRMA, which basically means what you're going to be paying on your Medicare Part B and D if you're on original Medicare. So what you pay for Medicare Part B and D is tied to your income. So if your RMD kicks in and kicks you into a higher tax bracket, it could increase your Medicare Part B and D. I just talked to someone today. Their RMD is going to cause them to pay approximately $7,000 a year in Part B and D per person. So they're married. They're going to be paying $14,000 a year for Medicare Part B when their RMDs kick in. So that's kind of ugly. Possible reduction of Social Security taxes. So if you're on Social Security, just look at your 1040. On the left-hand side is the gross amount. On the right-hand side is how much is taxable after they run it through provisional income. So what happens, though, is if just $1 is on the right-hand side, what that means is every additional taxable dollar will cause more of the tax-free Social Security on the left-hand side of your 1040 jump to the right-hand side and become taxable. So every dollar of additional income you add, it could be just a job, or it could be your required minimum distributions. Obviously, all the RMDs are going to be taxable, right? But every dollar of that RMD will cause more of your Social Security to become taxable, potentially. All right, so that's no bueno. Secure Act protection. So basically, what did I mean by Secure Act protection? Oh, yeah. So the Secure Act 1.0 and 2.0 made it so there is no more stretch IRA, meaning in most cases, your beneficiaries have to pull out all of your retirement money in a 10-year period, in most cases. And again, their kids are going to probably be in their peak earning years when you pass, and that's going to be ugly because they have to pull it all out and pay all the taxes. What are the taxes going to be? I don't know. Bet you don't know either. And control burn of taxes. That just basically means we're pulling it out on our schedule, right? So we can maybe just go up to certain brackets. We can pay taxes on our schedule. I forgot to mention, if anybody wants to, I mean, some of you have been, but just been comments. Ask questions. This is live. So if you're on YouTube, it's on the right-hand side. If you're on Facebook, it's below. And you can ask questions. I will get them and I will answer them or attempt to. All right, so let's talk about Roth basics. I'm going to make myself big just because I can. So let's talk about Roth basics. So Roth started in 1997. You probably didn't trust it for the first 10 years. So a lot of people don't have a whole lot of money in Roths because really contribution-wise, how much can you get into it? Well, if you're 50 and over, only $7,500 a year, not very much. However, conversions are unlimited, right? Why would the IRS be totally fine with you converting? Because they get their tax dollars, right? They're more than happy to let you do that. So, but the big thing about Roths, no required minimum distributions ever. So that's big. Obviously, every dollar you get out of those IRAs and 401ks reduces your RMDs. You get into Roths, you never have a required minimum distribution. And even if you do, it's tax-free, so who cares? Okay. That's pretty big. So obviously that can lower your IRMA, lower your Social Security taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, who shouldn't convert? Now, that's a good one, right? So who shouldn't bother converting? Those who shouldn't, if your IRAs are small enough to where the amount you're going to be forced to pull out is less than the standard deduction. If the amount that you pull out of your IRA is less than the standard deduction, you won't pay taxes on it, right? Well, for the most part. Obviously, there still needs to be a little bit of an analysis, but for the most part, that's true. So if you're not going to be paying taxes on it anyways because of the standard deduction, then why the heck are you converting to a Roth and paying taxes on it needlessly? Make sense? So an analysis just has to be done first before you do that. If you think tax rates are going down in the future, obviously it would not make sense to convert money to a Roth and pay higher taxes now if the taxes are going down. But try to find someone who actually thinks tax rates are going down. No one has asked a question in a long time, so I'm going to verify that I'm even live. Because last night, people were asking tons of questions. It says I'm live. Okay, fair enough. I will continue. Okay. Or number 3, who shouldn't convert? If you're happy to give more money to the IRS and you are legally required to do so. Ha ha ha. All right, so Roth conversions. Let's go over all right, thank you, whoever said that. No questions yet. The 5 different types of Roth conversions: bracket bumping, market timing, backdoor, mega backdoor, separate. All right, thanks, Lynn. So, all right, let's go over the 5 different types of Roth conversions. Bracket bumping. What is that? Well, it basically just means when we're converting, that's taxable income, right? So you got to add it all into your other taxable income. If you're working, you got to add it on top. If you got Social Security, you got to run it through the provisional income formula first to find out how much is taxable. And we just don't want to bump brackets if we can help it. Okay. So we have a progressive tax system. So just because you are $1 over the bracket doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be paying, that rate of return on all your money. We don't want to be stupid about it, right? And go too far into the next bracket. But the next brackets that aren't so friendly are the IRMA brackets, right? So this one, if we do go $1 over, they're not messing around. They're going to raise your IRMA, your premium on your Medicare Part B and D. Okay. So you can see 2023 IRMA brackets look 2 years back. And Peter asked, could they change the rules on Roth taxation at a later date? They absolutely can. And probably will, but usually what they've done in the past is you're grandfathered in. So probably what they would do is they'd say, all right, no new Roths get open, no more conversions, no more contributions, and they will just let them die on the vine. That would be my guess. But you can only do what you can do, right? You can only plan for what you can. All right, so IRMA, again, we don't want to mess with these brackets. Let me say one more thing, though, about these brackets, the federal brackets. What I do like to take advantage of, and a lot of financial advisors don't do this, and this opportunity is lost every year after December 31st. So this is a lot of times when people first retire, I find that they are in the 12% bracket. There's my dog barking. Because 2/3 of their income is Social Security, right? And like I said, if you run that through provisional income, a lot of it's not even taxable. They may be taking a little bit of money out of their IRAs or whatever. And again, I think most people that come to me, a lot of them anyways, are in the 12% bracket. So let's say you're married and your income is $50,000 after you take off the standard deduction of $27,900, $27,700, I think it's this year. So if your income, your adjusted gross income is only $50,000, you could convert, right? 60, 70, 30, 39,450 out of your IRA into your Roth and pay 12% on that. That's pretty amazing. That's never going to happen again. I almost can guarantee you that. So every year you've got to get money out of their IRA and get into the Roth and fill up that 12% bucket. If you let a year go by and not fill up the 12% bucket, that is no bueno. No bueno. Okay, that's bracket ball bang. Market timing. Basically, market timing just means if you're holding on to a security, an account, a fund, and it's gone down in value, like maybe it recently has, and you were planning on converting that account, well, maybe it makes sense to convert it now that the value is less because you'll pay less taxes, right? Because you pay taxes on the value that you're converting. So in my graphical representation here, the blue bar on the left-hand side there, the IRA account, let's say that's what the account value was before the crash. Okay, so 2021. And the value after, oh, see, I can do a Brady Bunch thing. I can look down at the green thing. So let's say after the correction, it's the value there, the green the green bar chart there, right? Less is all I'm trying to show you. So if your IRA has shrunken in value, wouldn't maybe now be the time to convert? You'll pay less taxes, right? Make sense? So convert that IRA to a Roth when the value is down, and then boom, look at that. You get into a Roth, and then when the security or fund or ETF or mutual fund, whatever it is, comes back in a recovery, it all comes back tax-free. Isn't that awesome? So tax-free if you convert it to a Roth when it comes back, or not tax-free if you keep it in the IRA, obviously, right? So that's all market timing is. And what's cool is a lot of people think that they have to convert like the entire account or just cash, and you can actually cherry pick one security. So let's say Apple, when it went down, you could take Apple shares, some shares, all shares, convert it to a Roth when the value was low, and then when it comes back, and boy did it come back, right? It'll all come back tax-free inside the Roth. Pretty cool. Backdoor Roth conversion. What the heck is that? Well, for a lot of my higher wager earning people, they can't even contribute to a Roth because there are income qualifications. If you make too much, you can't contribute to a Roth. However, a traditional IRA, there are no rules. I don't care how much you're making, you can contribute to an IRA, traditional IRA. Anybody can. So what some smart feller or gal did was they said, all right, well, let's contribute to an IRA. If we can't contribute to a Roth, let's just contribute to a traditional IRA because there are no rules. And then there are no rules to convert to a Roth. So that's a way to get Roth or money into the Roth if you make too much. Okay, it's just called the backdoor Roth contributions. Nothing fancy, but only up to a couple of years ago did we even know it was legal. The IRS finally gave the thumbs up and said it's perfectly legal. You can put money into an IRA and convert it the right next day. Okay, but CPAs always yell at me for talking about backdoor Roth because they are a pain in the butt. Lots of forms that need to be filed. There's you can make an argument that you're being double taxed. So we can talk about that if you're interested. But that is a way higher wagering people can get money into a Roth. Okay. Mega backdoor. What does this mean? Well, that means if you're lucky enough to have access to a 401k or 403b or whatever, and the employer allows you to put more money in than what is allowed into the pre-tax, meaning in this year, you can put $30,000 up to $30,000 into the pre-tax portion of the 401k. And if you want to continue contributing, it goes into an excess bucket. And you can put up to $43,500 into the excess bucket. Now, it's not pre-tax, it's after tax, so you don't get to deduct that from your income. But what do you suppose you can do with that excess? Yes, that's right. Convert it to a Roth. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's a cool strategy. You can see why contributing $7,500 into a Roth is the crappiest way to get money into a Roth, right? You can get a whole lot more into some of these other strategies into a Roth. Okay, so, but this was on the chopping block. So at some point, they're going to get rid of this as well. Okay, SEP conversion. SEPs are simplified employee pension. Well, basically, there's for self-employed people. They're an IRA. Okay, so if you've got a side income, you could still be working, or you're fully self-employed, whatever. you can get up to $66,000 into a SEP IRA. Pretty cool. And then, of course, you can convert that to a Roth, right? So that's another good way to get a lot of money into a Roth IRA. If you self-employed, or maybe you're working for somebody, but you got a side gig, do that. Okay. Donor advised fund. All right. So we're done on the Roth. So you can ask questions if you want, but we're done with Roths. All right. Donor advised fund. So the whole idea behind this thing is, if you're giving money to a charity, maybe it's $5,000 a year, whatever. Peter asked, what is the maximum amount you can contribute to an IRA? It is currently, Peter, $7,500. For you anyways, I do know you, so I know that you are over age 50. So it's $7,500. So, but that's just contributions, remember. Conversions is unlimited, right? So remember that, or all those other ways I just told you. All right, so donor advised fund. So the idea is, if you're giving money to a charity, $5,000 to your church, whatever it is, you probably can't deduct that anymore because the standard deduction is so high, right? Trump got rid of the personal exemptions and gave us all a big fat standard deduction. So if you're itemizing, it's hard to get above the standard deduction. You can see it there, $27,700 for married, $13,850 for single. So the strategy here is open a donor advised fund. So the idea here is, let's say you're giving $5,000 a month or a year to charity. Well, bunch all those up into 1 year. And if you throw them into a donor advised fund, so $25,000, it's what I mean by non-qualified, non-NQ is it can't be IRA money. Throw it into a donor advised fund. And that's in a fund that I can open, and we take the money, we do the due diligence to make sure that you're giving it to a 501(c) charitable company. But what's nice is, whatever money you put into that donor advised fund, you get 100% deduction. That's pretty awesome. Now you add that onto your mortgage interest and anything else you got going on, and you can deduct now your charitable contributions. And you can put more than 25,000 in. There's no limit. So I open up the donor advised fund. I accept the money for you. We dole it out to your charities whenever you want. There's no set schedule. Gross tax free, so you can even do more for charities. Okay, so pretty cool. If you forget what donor advice stands for, DAF, just always think Dan is an awesome financial advisor. That's how you should remember it. Okay, that's donor advised funds. Okay, so it's just a cool little strategy. Capital gain strategy. Now, this is a cool one. So as you guys probably know, money growing in IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, you don't have to pay taxes on any of it when it's growing in the account, right? You just have to pay taxes when you pull the money out. For non-retirement money, you have to pay taxes as you go, right? So interest, dividends, if you sell anything with a gain, you have to pay capital gains tax on it. But right now, capital gains taxes is not that bad. If we can arrange it in the year you retire or year after, whatever, and you're not showing any income, we can get rid of stocks, sell some stuff. And as long as it's less than $89,250, if you're married, you're not going to pay any capital gains tax on that. That's pretty cool. Right. And then even if you're above that, it's only 15%. It goes all the way up to like $500,000. So that's pretty cool. And what's interesting to remember is what we'll do for a lot of people for non-qualified money, non-IRA money, when they retire, we have to sometimes provide an income for them. Then we need to convert some money. Oh, I'm out of my window. And I need to free up some money, possibly in a non-retirement account, to pay the tax bill for the conversions. So we kind of have to balance all that. And the capital gain strategy is what we use a lot. We'll look at the tax basis for your accounts. We'll try to figure out if we can sell some stuff at no gains. We'll try to sell some stuff at a loss, but offset it with gains. So we can free up some money to pay tax bills for conversions, or maybe we just want to live on that money, so we can convert a lot more. Okay, so a lot of cool capital gain strategies that we can do. Susan asks, is there a minimum for a donor advised fund? No, there is not. But obviously, the amount you put in, you want to be able to get that above your standard deduction so you can deduct. Okay. Life insurance. And this will be the last thing that I talk about. Not the last slide, but the last thing. All right. Why the heck would we want life insurance? Well, life insurance is pretty powerful. And I know most people, when they see the words life insurance, they freak out and run for the hills. But life insurance is not so bad. Let me explain. The death benefit can be used for long-term care. That's pretty cool. All tax-free. But the amount that you overfund it, so we're talking cash value life insurance. So that would be universal life and whole life, okay, not term. So the IRS allows you to put a lot of money inside these policies. I can invest it in the market. It can grow tax-free and it can come out tax-free. There's more to it that I can't go over in this particular live stream, but just know that we can grow money like a Roth. Basically, it grows tax-free and it comes out tax-free. Okay, so that's that picture that I've got right there, the premiums coming into this bucket. The cash value is the excess of money that you put in. Okay, so that's the money that's growing like a Roth that you can use anytime you want for anything you want. But there's another bucket of money growing, and that's being paid for by this little spigot right here. So that's what they're taking out of your account to pay for your death benefit. But why you may want that is because the death benefit can be used for long-term care tax-free. So the reason why I like that is, as long as that first year that we're paying these fees is the same as a long-term care policy, well, then look what you got. You got a long-term care policy, kind of. You got a Roth on steroids, kind of, that you can put a ton of money in, no rules, grows tax-free, and you can create an income stream from it. So not too bad. Let me kind of go into more details. Because you know how I told you the fees the first year are about the cost of a long-term care policy, so maybe about $4 to $5 grand. What's cool is as you keep putting more money in, and I'll tell you how that works in just a minute, the cash value increases, right? So as the cash value increases, your fees actually decrease. So you can see as soon as you put that first money in, your death benefit is high, right? Obviously. And so the life insurance company is on the hook for maybe a couple $100,000, $300,000 of tax-free money that they gotta spit out if you die. So the fees are higher in the beginning, but this is why the fees actually decrease. Thank you, Coco, for barking during my live stream. So the fees are higher in the beginning, but again, no more than you would pay for a long-term care policy. And then they actually decrease as the corridor gets smaller. The corridor is just the difference between the death benefit and how much cash value you get in, okay? So you can see on this other chart here, I'll never be able to get this right. The fees actually decrease as the cash value increases, okay? So it's unlike any other account that you have. 401ks, IRAs, brokerage accounts, the fees increase as the account value gets higher, right? In life insurance, the fees actually decrease. There's a lot going on in life insurance, and I get super excited about when I talk about it, but you are not going to get me excited today because I am exhausted. Okay, so that's life insurance. So let me show you how we kind of use it in the practice. Oh, no, we don't need to go over that. This is how I kind of use it in my practice. So let's say you've got an IRA, 401k, 457, 403b, those accounts right there on the left-hand side. And let's say you're totally on board with converting to a Roth. All right, so let's convert to a Roth. Let's say it's $50,000 a year. Sorry, hold on. I got to check on one thing. I want to make sure. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so, all right, this is obnoxious. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so you got your IRA, 401k, and let's say we're totally on board. We're going to start converting $50,000 a year, get it into a Roth. However, what if we only converted $25,000 to a Roth and withdrew $25,000 to put it in life insurance, because life insurance can only be funded by after-tax money. The tax bill is the exact same, right? I don't care how you get money out of an IRA, whether you're converting or just pulling it out, you've got to pay taxes on it. But what I'm saying is maybe it makes sense not to put all of it into a Roth. Yes, there are no fees in a Roth, but we still got to invest the money, right? And the fees go up as the account gets bigger. What if we put some into a life insurance as well? And as soon as you put money into that life insurance, you get a huge death benefit that can be used for long-term care. And what if you kept doing that? So the money grew tax-free and we can take it out tax-free and the fees decrease as time goes by. You think that might make sense? I don't know. I have one of these for me and my wife because I can get all that money out of that cash value completely tax-free in retirement. I am not going to pay any taxes in retirement. I'm going to get Social Security for my wife and I. We've been doing backdoor Roth contributions and conversions. And I opened up a 401k for her practice and mine. And I made it a Roth 401k. So I'm putting money into Roth and I'm also putting money into life insurance. So I will be paying no taxes in retirement. And I try to teach people that, but they think I'm lying. All right. So that's life insurance. So I'm done. If anybody feels like this girl, oh, what if I put my head really big over here though? So if anybody feels like this girl, I know it's confusing. I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but now is an opportunity if you want to make an appointment. So we do a full analysis. We can see all those numbers right there, a lot of numbers, but we do all that so I can figure out what your gap is. So I can figure out a strategy to fill your gap. And then we got to figure out in what buckets do we pull it from and do we convert and how do we pay less taxes? We'll go over all that as well. If you'd like to make an appointment with me, this is how you do it. You go to calendly.com, say that fast, /Bridgeriver. Or you can just call the office, 248-785-3734. Or you can go to my website. No, that's not what I was saying. Yeah, go to my website, find out where I'll be talking live and come see me live. I'm going to, into the chats, put in that link. So calendly.com. Boom. You can click that, hopefully, to go into my calendar. It just brings you right to my calendar, basically, okay? Or the number. Well, you got the number. You don't really need me to type it in, but yeah, whatever, forget it. 248-785-3734, okay? Okay. All right, so you can go to the Calendly link. You get access to my calendar, and you can make your own appointment. You can make it just a 15-minute phone call if you want, if you just have a couple quick questions. You can make a Zoom if you're out of state. I know I've got a lot out-of-state people on here. Or you can come into my office. I'm on Woodward, just north of Long Lake, and we'll chat. Okay, so there's never a fee to meet with me. And we can talk fees when we put together the plan to see if you want me to handle some of your money, all of it, none of it. It's all good. Okay, so if there's no other questions, you can go to that link and set an appointment or call the office, speak to somebody, whoever answers, get on my calendar, and we can talk more. You guys are a silent bunch today. That is funny. Compared to the questions I had yesterday, yeah, yesterday's it was a little over an hour, so 20 minutes worth of questions. That's crazy. Am I still live on Facebook? I am still live on Facebook, yes. You are welcome, Lisa. Let me just make sure there are no questions on YouTube because some looks like didn't make it to my uniform chat. Facebook, I am still live on Facebook, yes. You are welcome, Lisa. All right, any other questions? I'm not seeing anything. Let me just make sure there are no questions on YouTube because some looks like didn't make it to my uniform chat. Facebook, I am still live on Facebook, yes. So that there are no other questions, and you guys, I'm you are welcome, Lisa. Because hard. All right, thanks, Dan. See you later. You're welcome, Susan. You're welcome, Ad. All right, thanks, everybody.